go.
Invincible.
Hello everybody, welcome in here at Ghost Racing Network to the NOMA Truck Series presented by Manny Ray. We are getting ready to go. Green drivers are gridding up, so as we await for them to get down to pit road, I want to wish everybody out there hopefully having a good Saturday night. We thank you for joining me here on Ghost Racing Network. Of course, these guys always going to put on a good showing, and hopefully we can get another good one for you tonight. First, I want to note before we actually jump on in here is I am trying out a couple new audio things tonight, so let me know if the mic sounds different, if you like it, if you don't like it, all those sorts of things. It'll all help me out in my quest to making a better show for you guys. All right, here we go. Let's get this out of the way and get right down into it. You see the field gridded up on pit road, getting ready to go. Let's start with your race info. We are at, well, actually, let's start with where we are. We are in Nashville, the Music City, and we are at Nashville Superspeedway. Weather outside 76 degrees, 10% humidity, partly cloudy skies, and winds at 2 miles an hour. Not going to be a factor The race tonight is going to be the Music City 200 in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. It's going to be 150 laps, 70% fuel, 5 sets of tires, 1 fast pair fixed setup. Stage 1 is going to come on lap 33. Stage 2 ends on lap 71, and 3 green-white checkers if we need them. Talking about the track, they call it a super speedway. I don't know if I would quite agree with that, as these guys, they get pretty fast, pretty slow in the turns. Not going to be bump drafting like you're used to seeing when we associate the word super speedway, but the track is 1.3 miles and track temp is going to be 81 degrees. Let's now jump into your starting grid. Starting on the front row, first got the pole tonight is going to be William McKellar. Saw him get a win a couple weeks ago at Talladega. Starting second is going to be Justin Bentley. Third, Jeff Carl. Fourth, Matthew Dyer. Row 3, Paul Witt and Sam Boutwell. 7th, TJ Allane. And 8th is going to be Justin Parham. 9th, William George. 10th, James Scamordella. Moving back to 11th, it's going to be Edward W. Smith. And 12th is going to be Rodney Roberts. 13th, Xander Short. 14th, Randy Bonomi. 15th is going to be Jay Stinson with Joey Hickox. Hickox racing to his outside. 17th, John Bell. 18th, DJ Maddish. 19th, Joseph Fogg. 20th, Scott Collins. 21st, Matthew Fritz. 22nd, Robert Jordan. 23rd is going to be Robert E. Morrison with Kenneth Reedinger to his outside. And 24th, 25th, Albert Hewins. 26th, Chris Akers. 27th, Vicente Guerrero. And 28th is going to be William George. Here we go. Pace truck pulls off. We are ready to go green in the Music City. Rolling into the Geico restart zone, awaiting the flag, and it is thrown. We're off at Nashville. Good initial start here from everybody. Looks clean. I'm telling you, though, that inside line, that is going to be the place to be. You already see it prevail there. William McKellar wasted no time. He's going to take the lead right away from Justin Bentley, who I haven't seen out here, at least not in a couple weeks, but it certainly is good to see him back out here. We'll see what he can do tonight, as everybody is fighting for positions. Oh, it looks like Xander Short may have had a little bit of an issue back here. I'm not sure if he actually did. It looks like he is falling down, so if he did have an issue, it looks like he got it back together. A couple guys actually struggling here. I'm not sure if they wanted to fall to the back or what. But going back up front, that first lap is going to be led by William McKellar. And everybody going to be working first to that first stage, and then they're going to make some adjustments on these trucks. It is fixed setup, so I guess I really shouldn't say adjustments, but adjustments in the way they're driving the track more than anything. We'll see if these guys try a different line, but it just doesn't really work here at Nashville. There's kind of just that main groove, the outside. Even on new tires, I just don't see anybody making any progress there. It is a little interesting, though, here in turn 1 at Nashville. You kind of almost run like a slight bit of an arc into it there, which you see the 75 of William McKellar doing. The goal isn't always necessarily to hug that yellow line, but if you can do it and roll around it nice and slow, you can really help make your tires go longer. And tires are going to be important here at Nashville. Heavy braking. These turns are pretty tight. In fact, let's take a look at some of the speeds here so I can show you the variation that I'm talking about. First, let's see what kind of speeds we get up to here as we're about to get into turn 1. Should be somewhere in the 170s or close to it. And you see he is going to get up to 172. But down in the corner, look at the speed he drops off to. Down into the 130s. That's almost a 35 mile an hour difference just about. And that's pretty hard on the tires, getting in the braking, getting around that corner, and getting on acceleration. As the run goes on, these trucks are going to start to become a handful. So getting yourself in that cleaner, as William McKellar is in now, is just going to help him out early. Let's take a look a little bit farther back here, see what's going on in the rest of the field. Not too many battles right now, and this kind of makes sense, right? I mean, I feel like you kind of could have expected this. We see further back a couple guys looking for position, but the biggest passing opportunities, if you will, that we're going to see here is going to be on the entrance of turn 3 and on the entrance of turn 1. I think that's where you're going to really see guys kind of a dive bomb effort, if you will, because I think that's going to be just the only spots you can really do it. I don't think we'll really see any passes on the outside, and if we do, then you better watch out, because the driver that figures out how to pass on the outside here is going to have something figured out. 6 laps down, though. William McKellar still leading the way. It's going to be Justin Bentley second. And Paul Witt, here we go, just as we were talking about those passes, he is going to make that pass into turn 1. Haven't completed as they work their way out of turn 2. Takes that spot away from Matthew Dyer, who is currently 4th. Jeff Carl 5th. He is down 2 spots from where he started. Sam Boutwell 6th. TJ Allane 7th. 8th is going to be William George. Rodney Roberts is in 9th. And Justin Parham, last week's winner at Bristol, in 10th. And boy, what a wild week. The 19 of Justin Parham's coming off of. That was probably the most cautions we've seen in a race. NOMA decided they'd try out some short tracks. Didn't work out too well, as we saw, like I said, a record number of cautions. Justin Parham had a pretty exciting battle there towards the end with Xander Short, and I believe it was Matthew Fritz And Justin Parham did get the better of those two and was able to come home a winner. And he's got some momentum to work off this week. Still a lot of time in the race, so we'll see if he can find something later. But up front, it is still all William McKellar. Further back, looks like Paul Witt. He's maybe finding something in the 429 truck because he is making up a couple spots. Already up 2 from where he started. But he's about to make it 3 as he is going to go right around Justin Bentley in the 16. And just that slight slip up that makes him go to the outside as he tries to let the 429 by. Might cost him a second position. Looks like he is going to be able to hold off the charging Matthew Dyer for now into turn 3. And actually, I want to get a better shot of this so I can kind of show you the line here. And watch these guys as they work down into turn 1 here. And actually, you know what? I'll take that back. Let's ride on board here with your leader, William McKellar, and watch his line here. So you see how long he tries to hold the yellow. Again, like I was trying to mention earlier, the longer you hold that yellow, the longer these tires are going to last. The problem comes in when these guys are really trying to get on the throttle and you slide up the track. You can go a little bit higher, but boy, that wall comes up abruptly here. It's not like it's some tracks where we almost see it kind of follow the turnout here. Once you get to the straightaway, that wall gets straight quick, and I think we'll see some guys make some contact with the wall throughout this race. But a clean start overall. Xander Short was the only driver that it looked like had some issues, and I mean, it must have been pretty major issues as he is down 13 spots right now from where he started, running just in front of Russ Kilgore, who is in 27th. Vicente Guerrero kind of was expecting a little bit bigger things out of this guy tonight, but just not off to a great start out of the gates. Currently sitting in 28, down 1 spot from where he started. Paul Witt, though, up to second, seeing if he can chase down your leader, William McKellar, and we'll watch the gap. But as of right now, it looks like he is indeed closing that gap. And Nashville, I was thinking about making the analogy that it's kind of like a bigger Bristol. Not really, because we don't quite see the same things, but still the same sense of you got to have tires for the long run. I've seen in a lot of these different races that I've done, guys burn their stuff up early, and right now, if you're William McKellar, knowing you have the gap that you have, I think you got to maybe put it on cruise control here. Just conserve some tire, save it in case all of a sudden you have a battle on your hands towards the end of the stage, which is going to fall on lap 33. Let's go check on how some of these other guys that are further back in the field are doing. Wow, Xander Short now falling back to last. Boy, he is really struggling here early. Matthew Fritz, one of the Manny Ray's drivers there. You see it all over the truck. Manny Ray's, of course, the sponsor. NOMA, always glad to have him on board and glad to see him out here watching the stream, rooting these guys on. I thought about going 3 wide there for a second around Robert E. Morrison, who's currently in 25th, and Albert Hewins, who has one of my favorite paint schemes. I just really like the way that gold and white goes together. Moving up, though, to 22nd, it's going to be Robert Jordan with Edward Smith in front of him, Joseph Fogg in 20th. And then we are going to see another Hickox Racing driver running in front of one of his teammates, and that is going to be Joey Hickox in 19th, Scott Collins in front of them. Here's another Hickox Racing driver. It's going to be Chris Akers, one of the best super speedway drivers. And I know it says Nashville Superspeedway, so maybe Chris will find something. Seems like any place we go that has Superspeedway in the name. The Force seems to find some speed. James Scamordella in 15th. John Bell 14th. Kenneth Riedinger, saw him win earlier this season at Kentucky. Here he is up 11 spots. One of the biggest movers in the field right now from where he started in 13th. And the highest running Hickox Racing driver right now is going to be Randy Bonomi, at least right now, and I'm going to take that back in just a second. I'll tell you why, but he currently runs 12th. Justin Parham 11th, and here you go. Here is the highest running Hickox Racing driver, and that is Mr. Jay Stinson, currently rounding out the top 10. Then it's Rodney Roberts in the Fireball paint scheme. Sam Boutwell 8th. Jeff Carl 7th. William George 6th. TJ Allen is the first guy inside that top 5. Justin Bentley followed back a little bit here. Paul Witt, he started to close the gap a little bit, but now William McKellar is starting to extend it a little bit. And boy, you want to talk about personality. If this guy can get the win tonight, you will hear it in the interview. One of the greatest drivers. I always love interviewing him because he does these pretty funny interviews. I think he's trying to kind of mimic the wrestler that he's got on his truck. But if we talk to him later tonight, I promise you, you'll know what I mean. Quick reminder, if you are out there watching tonight, let me know how the audio sounds. If anything sounds different with the mic, I did try to change some filters and whatnot, and how the audio in the game sounds mixed with it. Too loud, too quiet. DJ Madish in 14th, up 4 spots from where he started. Same deal with John Bell. Kenneth Riedinger now up 12 spots from where he started. And Robert Jordan is now the last truck in the field. And let's pull up the track map because lap traffic is going to start to play a role here. Not yet, but you see from first to last is taking up about half the track now. And William McKellar now has the gap up to a second, and we are already over halfway through this first stage. The lap's going by quick in the race, and I have a feeling it's going to go really, really green tonight. Just kind of has a different feel than it was last week, doesn't it? But 17 laps into the 150. If you are just tuning in, you are watching the NOMA Truck Series presented by Manny Ray here at Nashville Superspeedway. It is the Music City 200. Your current leader, William McKellar. Second, Paul Witt. Third is going to be Matthew Dyer. Fourth, Justin Bentley. And fifth, TJ Allane. We're trying to go through the field here. It looks like we got a little battle here between Rodney Robertson. Wow, is the 98 actually going to make a pass on the outside? No, it looked like he started to get the advantage, but there you see he had to get it back down the track, and that was when the 45 started to take advantage. This is Jeff Carl. He was trying to get the best of Rodney Roberts there for a second, but it doesn't look like he's going to make it happen, as Nancy does say, sounds good. Thank you, Nancy. Certainly appreciate it. Further back, looks like Jay Stinson's got himself in a little battle here with the 19. Last week's winner, Justin Parham, and Kenneth Riedinger, Kentucky winner. And you see the 19 working to the inside. And it's almost, man, if you can really catch a couple guys on that outside line, you do carry some momentum down the front and back stretch when you do so, but there's just no speed really in the middle. And even as these guys continue to lay more rubber down on the track, we might see the outside lane maybe work a little bit more, but overall it's just not really formed up so far tonight. And Jay Stinson is going to lose a couple positions, but these two are starting to really move up through the field. Justin Parham, Kenneth Riedinger almost following each other, and they actually were battling each other a good amount at Kentucky. I think Kenneth had a much better truck than he was able to show for last week at Bristol, because unfortunately he got caught up in both wrecks, and that ruined his night. Everybody does have a faster pair tonight. I might have forgot to note that, but that is important, because if you get in a wreck, your race is not done. Go in and take that fast pair, get yourself right back out here and try it again. Jay Stinson here, look like he is now in a battle with Jeff Carl. Jay is up 5 spots from where he started, so overall still a positive gain. Unfortunately, Jeff Carl going the opposite direction, down 8 spots from where he started. And he just hasn't really been able to find the groove in the low line. We keep seeing him run this middle and top lane, and he continues to fall back. Sam Boutwell going to try to get by him next. Looking further back in the field here, we got, looks like a 5-truck battle here. And this is going to be for 17th. Joseph Fall currently leading that battle. He's got Randy Bonomi behind him, Edward Smith. Taking a look here. Actually, sorry, that is not what I wanted to pick up. I wanted to say, let's take a look here at the lap time between one of these mid-pack guys and your leader. The last two, 32.1 and a 31.9. Let's compare that up front to William McKellar. And there you go, 31.5 and 31.5. I mean, that's over a half a second difference. And that's why he is continuing to put the gap on second place runner Paul Witt. And it actually looks like these guys might be slowly starting to track Paul back down. Justin Bentley has moved up a spot over Matthew Dyer. He's taking that 3rd spot away. Now he sets his sights on the 429 truck. And just 10 laps to go here in stage 1. And the only thing I'm not sure on, we'll know here after the first stage, is if the white flag is on lap 33 or if 33 is the checker. But we're going to go ahead and assume, based off what you would assume it would be, is the white flag should fall on lap 33. Caution falls right after that. Chris Akers, though, dive into the inside of DJ Madish. He is going to take away 14th spot. Chris Akers, another driver, making big moves throughout the field, up 12 spots from where he started right now. And let's take a ride on board here, a lap around with Chris Akers. Actually, let's go up a little farther. I take the back. See one of these guys that are battling here. And here we go. Take a look here at TJ Allane in the 9 truck. And these guys can drive it pretty deep. I will say, because I was actually here during the College Series race, which was in the Xfinity Series, these trucks can go in a lot deeper into the corners and hold a lot more stable than the Xfinity Series, but that doesn't change that as these tires get old, I don't think they'll have to worry too much about it here in stage 1. But as this race goes on and we have that long run, especially in stage 3, it is going to get loose. But right now, it actually looks like TJ might be fighting a little bit of tightness. Oh, we got one in the grass up here. It looks like, can't tell exactly who this is. See if we can find him real quick. Robert Jordan, that's who that's going to be. See riding around the apron here on 3 and 4. It looks like he's trying to get it back on track. He's having a rough night, and this is not going to help his cause at all. As this is going to, he's actually already 7 laps down, so really rough night here for Robert Jordan. Every other truck is on the lead lap. And let's see if we can take a look here. Not sure if anything, oh yeah, just coming off pit road a little too hot. Spins it. Luckily was able to stay down low in the grass, doesn't collect anyone. And since we're here, let's take a look here Yeah, what happened to Xander Short? This was early on. This is why he's been struggling ever since. Oh, some contact with the 89 sends him down into the grass. And he goes for a pretty wild slide, but holds onto it somehow. Oh, go back up the track. Oh, my goodness. Kenneth Riedinger. That was a quick scare for him. I bet you that increased the heart rate of the 24 there for a little bit. Brenda Madish also says, sounds good tonight. Thank you. We appreciate you letting me know. But I'll tell you what, here at Nashville, to have this many trucks still on the lead lap, 27 laps in, is pretty impressive. And I mean, you see it here. We continue to stretch it out. It's just about now a little bit, I'd say, maybe almost 3/4 of the track now between first and last. But it's only been 27 laps so far, and that caution coming out in 6 laps, I think right now is a good chance for these guys if they want to try anything different. Everybody's kind of locked into where they're running, minus a couple battles that are going on throughout the track. In fact, going back to 12th, it looks like there might be a little bit of a battle here, a little bit farther back. Yep, sure enough, Chris Akers works his way around John Bell, and he is continuing to move now up 14 spots. But John Bell, wow, he's going to try to cross over here. Does he make it stick on the 4 down the backstretch? It looks like he's really close. He's going to try to dive it into turn 3 here. And Chris Akers actually sends it in a little bit more, and I think this is because the 4 is doing a better job on his tires. But that is the first time so far tonight we have seen that middle groove work for a truck. That could be positive signs here. Have to see if it continues to work out that way. But 29 laps of the 150 through so far if you're just tuning in. You're watching the Music City 200 here on Ghost Racing Network with the Green Ghost. Thank you for joining us here on this fine Saturday evening. Justin Bentley got up to 3rd, and he is still trying to catch Paul Witt, but the gap has extended between Paul Witt and Justin Bentley, and the gap sits at just under 1.5 seconds between your leader and your second place runner. William George in the 96, he is another guy that's one in the positive direction from the start, up 4 spots. Matthew Dyer been hanging around the top 5 all night as well. And we didn't have a big field last week at Bristol. Not the biggest field that we've seen here this week in Nashville either. But 27 trucks, pretty solid nonetheless. And actually, I'll pull up the schedule once we get to our first stage and let you know what it's looking like for the rest of the season. But I think we're just about halfway, if not over halfway. Again, I kind of joined in late in the season. But 2 more laps is how long the leader, William McKellar, is going to have to coast around before he is going to get a break to go in. These guys do have 5 tire sets tonight. They will be taking at least 1 during each stage break here, so that will leave them with 3 in the pits. And they are going to have to, of course, pit during that last green flag run. At least I would think. Yeah, no, sure enough, they are. Who am I kidding? They're not going to be able to make whatever it is, 80 laps without pitting. And at that point, if you can, you just want to make sure you have tires in case we have a late caution, which these guys shouldn't have a problem with that. I think at most, if we were to go green the whole way, everybody should be using a total of 3 sets here tonight with 2 left over in case we do have those late cautions, which would, of course, mean if you get down and get tires, you might be giving yourself a good chance. William McKellar has led them all so far, and he is going to see if he can hold them off for 1 more lap. Shouldn't have any issue here. That is Robert Jordan working the outside. He is on new tires. He has already came into pit just trying to log some laps, and that is why he looks so fast on that outside line right now. Normally, that would not be the case, but the gap sits now at 1.2 seconds. So Paul Witt did close a little bit here. Not going to have enough time. I think William McKellar maybe just making sure he takes it a little bit extra easy right here. But for the final time in stage 1, here he comes through turn 3. Dominating run early. We'll see if he can continue it in stage 2. But pit stops are going to certainly shake some things up. Out of turn 4, William McKellar is going to win at stage 1 at Nashville. And now we are just waiting to see caution thrown. There it is. First caution of the night, but of course it is scheduled, so no worries there. I'll tell you what, before these guys get to everything, we're going to go take a break as we go Ghost Racing Network side by side. Stick with us and you won't miss a thing. And welcome back to Nashville Superspeedway drivers. Currently underway with pit stops, and you see your current leader, William McKellar, going down pit roads. In fact, we're going to try to dial him up here in just a second. We'll give him a second here to finish his pit stop and get back out clean, because we certainly wouldn't want to mess up his track position. We'll see if he comes out, and see if anybody stayed out. Looks like Robert E. Morrison chose to. Maybe a little strategy play there from the 43 truck. We'll see how it pans out. But here we go, the 75. Looks like he is going to get out of pit road first. Let's see if we can dial him up here. William McKellar, Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
All right, man. Well, the truck looks fast so far tonight. You got the lead here coming out of pit road. You might have to contend with Robert E. Morrison depending on strategy, but what are you thinking about doing here for the rest of the race to keep yourself out in front?
Honestly, I think I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing. I noticed in stage one I missed my turn there a couple laps in a row. Really let Paul Witt catch up to me. Going to do my best to not do that. Keep just hitting my marks. This Max Speed TV 75 truck seems to be really fast tonight, and I want to keep it that way.
Well, we will see how it pans out. One more question I want to ask you, though, is we've seen it kind of looks like a one-groove track for the most part tonight. I want to ask, do you look to see that change and maybe the middle or outside come in, and just how important are the tires here?
Well, I'll take the second question first on this. Tires here are all important. I want to go ahead and just, after that 33-lap stint, my right front was down to 79%. So, it was going pretty quick. But, on fresh tires, on fresher tires, you can make that middle line work, especially if you're trying to pass. But no, it seems like you've got to make the pass going into the corner. Otherwise, you're going backwards.
All right, well, thank you for talking to us. We'll let you back to your team. Good luck, and hopefully we're talking to you at the end of this thing.
Thank you.
We're going to move him back down here. William McKellar, I kind of promised you maybe a little bit of a different interview, but maybe we'll hear that if he can secure the victory tonight. Very calm, collected. Sounds like he is ready to run the rest of this thing. And it looks like 43 Robert E. Morrison is going to go ahead and come down pit road this time here. You see him taking the access road. At least you think he was. Or you got to assume he is. Here's what I meant to say. So that would put the 75 back out in charge. Let's go ahead and get the tower back up for you here, as we should be getting the one to go signal this time. And it looks like, sure enough, your leader, or was your leader there, did not win the stage, but Robert E. Morrison is coming down to pit this time. They'll shuffle him to the back. Let's go over your top five now real quick as we got him running here. First place, of course, stage one winner, William McKellar. We'll see if he can continue to lead the way. Second, Paul Witt. Third, Justin Bentley. Fourth, TJ Allane. Rounding out the top five is going to be Kenneth Riedinger. And I wanted to look, here we go, we'll go a little bit farther down. I want to note this guy too, Justin Parham, because him and Kenneth Riedinger were on a mission in that first stage. A couple of your biggest movers, Chris Akers as well. We'll see if he can also get up here for Hickox Racing. You see this exit road here. Well, I don't know if you can really see it from this view. I guess I should probably give you, but there you go. On your left there, you see the apron, then you see that access road where the white line merges there. Important to note, when you come out of pit road here at Nashville, you have to take that. And we saw Robert Jordan struggle with it earlier, but we didn't see any green flag stops, and we won't see any here either, because the stage is going to end on lap 71. So these guys not going to have to worry about stopping here. Actually, I don't believe so. I forgot it is 70% fuel. So we will have to see, actually, if we see a pit stop. The point, though, either way, is if we do see a green flag stop, getting in is going to be tough, but getting out is going to be really tough. That apron is very slippery and very tight, no banking, and you do not want to mess up. If you get in grass, which is on both sides of you there, you're going to slip up, and that could ruin your evening. But here we go. Pace truck is off. William McKellar leading him into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air for stage two. Boy, he got a big jump using that Geico restart zone to full advantage. He is going to lead him into turn one. Justin Bentley is going to steal second from Paul Witt. And we will see. We saw Justin kind of making a little bit of ground there late in the stage, but wasn't actually able to get anywhere with it. So it looks like Raymond Daniels Sr., I believe that is going to be Manny Ray's. Sure enough, owner of Manny Ray's at least, says nice clean run that stage, and I couldn't agree more. Almost refreshing after what we saw last week at Bristol, but these guys looking very professional. You see in the background here, The sun is really starting to set here. In fact, we'll pull up the weather here for you on the side. You see it 19. That means it is 7 o'clock at night right here in Nashville, so the sun is continuing to set. We will probably be into nighttime before this race is over. Wind is at 2 miles an hour and not varying, coming from 360. That is from the north. Up front, though, William McKellar is going to lead your first lap back on a green. The field is looking a little tighter, though, here. Paul Witt is still on the back bumper of Justin Bentley, not content to let him go anywhere right now. And take a look at that wheel on your bottom right. Look how smooth the input is here from your leader, William McKellar. Doesn't move it very much at all. You might think, is that thing even moving? It is, but that's just how smooth he is. You heard him say tires are ever so important here. And part of keeping those tires for the long run is making sure you hold a steady wheel. You don't want to make any aggressive turns. You don't want to slide the rear tires. And you heard him say he kind of missed a couple of turns. It's very, very easy to overshoot the turn here in Nashville. If you get in just a little bit too hot, you will slide way, way up the track. So William McKellar is trying to adjust to that. But it looks like Justin Bentley, Paul Witt, Kenneth Riedinger, these guys all came flying out of the gate here for stage 2. The 2 of Matthew Dyer. It's going to be the first truck where there's a little bit of a break. We did see TJ Allen. I'll tell you what, this guy was running really, really fast in practice. And he's got Rodney Roberts right now that he's trying to fight for that 6th position, but he might be able to find something here. Chris Akers still up 15 spots from where he started, currently sitting just outside the top 10 in 11th. He's going to try to crawl his way up. Already 43 laps down, so we're almost a third of the way through this 150 lap event. And if you like what you're seeing tonight and it's not too much trouble for you, we would appreciate if you could give us a like. And if you're new, make sure you follow. And let's go check a little bit further back here how some of these guys are doing. We do have a couple more at lap down. Now it looks like we do have 24 trucks on the lead lap. You see, it looks like Russ Kilgore is on pit road. Not sure what happened. Robert Jordan is out on track, but multiple laps down. James Scamordella looks like is unfortunately not on track at all right now. Robert E. Morrison, he also went a lap down, and I believe that was a penalty from not going into the pits the first time and going in after. And it looks like Scott Collins is currently the last truck on the lead lap. We got a little bit of a battle right here. Looks like Matthew Fritz is going to try to work his way around DJ Madish. I'll tell you what, if we go up a little bit farther here, in fact, let's go up all the way to Albert Hewins. He is currently battling the 5. That's John Bell. Looks like John getting that momentum on the straightaway is going to be able to get in front of the 55 here before they get into turn 1. And take a look at your scoring tower there. We'll show you the best time so far for the race. And look at the difference. We got a 30.29 best lap so far for William McKellar. Some of these guys further down have actually ran a faster lap than that. But it's all about consistency here. And then once you get farther down the board, some of these guys' best laps are in the mid-30s. Taking a look at the manufacturer splitting the field tonight. Per the usual, it is going to be mostly Chevys. However, Chevy not leading the way because it's going to be a Ford. William McKellar's Ford to be exact. And the sun continuing to set here, and Paul Witt continuing to close the gap. Has it down to under 0.2 seconds. And he is going to be on the back bumper here, potentially into turn 1 of William McKellar. William not really had to fight anybody too hard so far, but this is going to put a little pressure on him here. And actually, let's ride on board. Actually, let's go on the nose here of Paul Witt and see if he can close the gap. Ooh, it looks like he is getting in a little better on entry. But you saw right there, the 75, William McKellar rolled the middle a little bit better and got a much better exit. And Paul Witt's got to be careful here. I'll tell you what, it gets so tempting when you get really close to a guy. You want to start pushing your truck a little bit harder. You have the grip, but remember, the harder you push, you're not going to be able to push later. And you see Paul gets up a little bit higher, quicker here. William McKellar still doing a nice job using that clean air. Oh, caution is out. Looks like Edward Smith involved in some sort of incident here. Oh, he's got some damage to the back of that truck. Looks like the front end's pretty clean, so I'm thinking this might be a slide up into the wall in turn 3. Let's go back and take a look at it. First non-scheduled caution of the night. Second overall caution. Ooh, is he going to get some help here potentially from Vicente Guerrero? Here we go. Oh. Yeah, the 14 gets into him. Bam! That's a pretty hard shot for the 89 Edward Smith up into the turn 3 wall. And he definitely did get some help there. I'll tell you what, that was Vicente Guerrero. Not sure if he just got in there too hot. And before we continue on, let's run aboard here with Vicente. These two are running probably about mid-pack for what it looks like. Let's see if he just got in a little hotter than he wanted here. I don't think he meant to turn him by any means. And he got off the gas pretty late there, but I think maybe, maybe he was trying to get to his inside. Just didn't quite get it in time. Not exactly sure, but once the contact was made, Edward Smith just no shot at hanging on to it here. Sends himself right around, big slide, and just not much room to go here. I mean, it's pretty narrow in the turns considering some of the tracks we go to. And once that thing got turned around backwards, that was all she wrote. We'll take one more view of it here. Boom. That was a pretty bad view. Actually, let's give you one more from a little bit closer. And he gets it rolling, but man, I'll tell you what, that might be a fast spray here. There's some tracks where I think maybe he gets away with that damage. I don't know. That's a pretty hard shot. Doesn't look all that bad, all things considered. I'll have to see what he decides to do. Let's go back live and up front, where your current leader is William McKellar. It was going to be interesting, I felt like, to see if we'd see anybody pit here, especially when you think about they have 5 sets of tires, but maybe they think we'll start to see a couple more cautions, and nobody really wants to use them just yet. So it is going to be William McKellar still leading second, Paul Witt third. Is going to be Kenneth Reedinger fourth, TJ Allane, and rounding out the top 5 is going to be William George in the 96. William having a nice run here. See if he can keep it up. Rodney Roberts in the Fireball paint scheme. He looked like he hopped into practice a little bit late, so may not have got as much practice as the rest of these guys, but doesn't seem to be bothering him right now. He is up here running inside the top 10. Joey Hickox for Hickox Racing. Boy, he had a rough week as well last week. A lot of these guys did. At Bristol that was, but Joey recovering nicely here tonight. He's got himself inside the top 10. Xander Short, that's another Max Speed TV driver. He's recovered nicely as well so far tonight. After getting contact earlier, going into the grass, he saved it, but he did fall back quite a bit. But now he has got himself back up inside the top 10. We'll see just how competitive that 12 truck is. Matthew Dyer, we saw him run inside the top 5 quite a bit. He is now back to 13th. Jeff Carl 14th. Justin Bentley. And this might be a couple of guys here that maybe did pit. Will be interesting to see here how this all pans out. Paul Witt was knocking on the door of William McKellar for the lead there, but wasn't able to take it. We'll see if he can hold it off here. We should be getting the 1 to go signal this next time. And showing you the scenic view real quick. As you see these guys come around, just look at the sky. It continues. You see the lights are on now. And it's going to change for these guys. Once we go into nighttime, is actually dynamic weather on. I'm not 100% sure on that. It looks like track temp is around the same. So is temperature outside, but the handling of these trucks might change a little bit. Of course, they would change the same for everybody as it is fixed setups. But some guys might get a little faster here as we go into the night. Some of them might get a little slower. We'll have to see. Lights are off on the pace truck, though. That means we are going green this time, and it is going to be 20 laps until the end of stage 2 before that final sprint to the finish, which is going to be over. There's going to be more than the total distance ran in stage 1 and stage 2, assuming we go green. That is where we look to see a pit stop. And there might be lane choice here, and it looks like William McKellar decided to take the outside here. I'm a little surprised about this decision, but you might think it works for him because I think the goal here is to get clear. Maybe he doesn't have to worry about going up the track, but we definitely know that inside's predominant, so if somehow Paul Witt can hang with him, I think that 429 would have a shot at taking the lead. We'll see if he can do it, though, here. In the Geico restart zone, though, we did see just how big of a jump McKellar got on the last restart, so Paul Witt's got to really be ready here. It can catch you sleeping very easily if you're not careful about it. And can either of these guys in the second row, Kenneth Reedinger or TJ Allin, take advantage of it? Here we go. Into the Geico restart zone. And he gets another good jump. Green flag is back out. Paul Witt, nothing he could do. Catches the field sleeping, and it's just so hard to get a good restart if you're not the leader because you just can't really read his mind. But looks like Kenneth Reedinger is going to steal 4th from the 9. Actually moves himself into 3rd. And the 429, Paul Witt settles into 2nd. And will these guys get a little bit more battly here? They're not going to have to go as long on the tires now, only 20 laps. I'd say that's about enough time where the long run guys aren't going to have enough time to get up front. So I'd say you really kind of want to use your stuff up here if you got it. But we'll see how it pans out. Did Paul Witt maybe use a little bit too much on that last run? And Kenneth Reedinger, first time up here in the top 3 tonight. What can he do? Justin Parham still outside the top 5. Looks like once he got to a certain point, he's starting to struggle a little bit, but he is going to try to work around Joey Hickox right here. just behind him, we see a battle between Xander Short and Sam Boutwell. Wow, Sam really laying it on the door of the 12. Is he going to make it stick on the outside? It looks like he was maybe going to camp, but he should have a little momentum down the front. The 12, Xander Short, is going to dive all the way to the bottom. Important to note, these guys can go below that yellow here. We haven't seen too much of it so far tonight. And the 2, Matthew Dyer, boy, he thought about taking it 3 wide there. The gap just closed up. Chris Akers trying to go around the outside, but yeah, we are starting to see that outside work in just a little bit now. Chris Akers going to try to go by a couple of these guys on the outside, and Sam Boutwell, how bad it cleared him there. 3 wide through turn 3. What a move from Chris Akers. He gets around all 3 of them, says, hey, who says the outside isn't a good lane tonight? I'll take it. Goes right around the 2 of Matthew Dyer, now trying to get past Sam Boutwell as they dive into turn 1. Let's go back up front and see how that battle's shaping up. William McKellar still leads, but Kenneth Riedinger has found his way under and around the 429 of Paul Witt. And we will see now if he can chase down the man who has led them all and been so dominant tonight, William McKellar. Kenneth Riedinger is not the man you want to mess with. He has been fast, and boy, he can get hot in a hurry in these races. And I think he is running a little bit more aggressive on his tires right now, but I think he knows if he could get that clean air, he feels like he could probably hold off the 75. And he's running a little higher. Ooh, William McKellar ran a really defensive line. Kenneth Riedinger is going to dive it in. He is running right on the door. Can he clear the 75 out of 2? Oh, he has to get out of the throttle. He's not quite going to do it, but he's still hanging on the right rear here. Ooh, William McKellar, I think, was a mistake running that defensive line. But, man, Kenneth Riedinger not giving him any room. That time the 75 is going to get a little physical. Make sure that 24 has to go up the track. And that's important there. So it seems like if these guys can really pin that inside down, the outside kind of works. We saw it work for Kenneth Riedinger in 1 and 2. However, the 75 got a little bit more aggressive with it in 3 and 4. He actually slid the 24 up the track, and it didn't work out so well. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are run different because you got to remember these guys aren't running as fast in 3 and 4 as they are in 1 and 2. That's because the front stretch is longer. In fact, let's pull up the dashboard here so I can show you what I'm talking about. As Kenneth Riedinger is going to get a little momentum here. He's going to try to dive down low. He can't quite do it. The 75 is going to go low, but now the 24, he's going to get under him here. Oh, they got to be, oh, there's contact. Can the 75 hold onto it up? Oh, William McKellar is into the wall. Oh, no. The 75 is not going to be having, oh, there's more contact. The 75 is around into the grass. No caution yet. Rodney Roberts, Matthew Dyer there are also sliding in. This night just went from great to worse, or from great to bad for William McKellar. Now caution is out. Oh my goodness, what a mess. And you may have wondered why I kind of didn't quite yell there on that one. I got excited about it, but I had to be careful because, of course, I am home right now. Don't want to wake up the rest of the family that is sleeping. But oh no, let's go back to this from the start of where it happened. I mean, this was just kind of a mess. Looked like William McKellar maybe got a little aggressive trying to hold off Kenneth Riedinger, and it went south, and then it just continued to go south. So right here, Kenneth Riedinger has a great run, and he is going to take full advantage of it. He does not want to waste any time here. He dives low, and he's going to get to the inside right there. William McKellar, oh, actually, was that a little net code between them? I couldn't quite tell here. It looked like there was some initial contact, but then it looked like they got off of each other. Let's take a look at the chopper view here. And it was a really good move, actually, from Kenneth Riedinger. He sized it up perfect. He gets under. William McKellar knows how important track position is. Right here, I thought there was some slight contact. None yet. There's going to be the contact. Oh, yeah, no, it is going to be contact. Kenneth Riedinger, after that contact, he tried to get out of it, but just got a little bit more into the 75, and William McKellar was able to hold on to it. Kenneth Riedinger was able to avoid him, but just slides up the track. He's not going to be able to hold it up here, and now he's coming back down the track here. Some other guys are going to get involved. They're going to try to squeeze 3 wide around him. Justin Parham maybe didn't know they were going 3 wide. Him and Rodney Roberts get together. Matthew Dyer slides in the 75. A lot of damage. That's probably going to be a fast pair for that truck. And that was when the caution flew. Let's back this up and take one more look at the whole sequence here from TV3. And, I mean, William McKellar just got to be wondering what the heck just happened. Here's the contact with the wall. Here comes an onrushing Justin Parham and Rodney Roberts. Man, lucky this didn't collect more guys, but still unfortunate break for Rodney Roberts and Matthew Dyer, who were just innocent bystanders collected in that incident. And William McKellar maybe not going to be too happy with Kenneth Riedinger here, but overall seemed like a racing incident. Just 2 guys going for the same piece of real estate. You saw Ken by no means was trying for that to happen. You saw the backfire out of the pipes. He was trying to get out of the gas, but Just ran out of time to do so before spinning the 75 around. That is going to shuffle up the field a little bit. And it is going to be what should probably be 10 or 9 laps to go here for this final restart, depending on if we get the 1 to go. Signal final restart in this stage. Of course, we do still have plenty of laps left here at Nashville Superspeedway. And it looks like we are going to go around at least one more time. So let's go through your running order up to the top 10. Kenneth Riedinger first. In fact, let's pull up these guys' card. Kenneth Riedinger first. Paul Witt second. William George is going to be third. TJ Allane fourth. Justin Parham 5th, Chris Akers 6th. It's going to be Justin Bentley 7th. Jay Stinson for Hickox Racing currently running in 8th. Matthew Fritz, that's another Hickox Racing driver in 9th. And Albert Hewins having a good night here. He is up 15 spots from where he started in 10th. Sean Bell 11th. Randy Bonomi 12th. Vicente Guerrero 13th. 14th is going to be Joseph Fogg. 15th, Scott Collins. Joey Hickox 16th. Sam Boutwell 17th. Xander Short 18th. Jeff Carl 19th, and rounding out the last spot inside that top 20 is going to be Matthew Dyer, who we just saw involved in that last incident. And let's see here. It looks like he has chosen not to use his fast spare, so maybe the damage wasn't as bad as we initially thought. Let's go check on some of these other guys. William McKellar looks like he has used his fast spare. He knows he's got a pretty fast truck, and I don't think he wants to waste time potentially sitting back here. He's going to try to get as many as he can before this stage and then try to make up as much more as he can after, once we have that next restart is scheduled to happen here 10 laps from now. DJ Madish in 25th. Robert Jordan is trying to find Rodney Roberts, who we saw involved in that incident here. I wanted to take a look at how his truck was doing. And here he is in 21st. And it looks like he did not use a fast spare. I didn't think he got the worst of the damage, so I think that's a good call there. We'll see how it pans out for him. Kenneth Riedinger leading the way, and I think he might be trying to scoot away from the field here. Justin Parham has worked his way now just about inside the top 5. Actually, sure enough, is inside the top 5 in that 5th spot. And so is Chris Akers up here as well. So some of these guys that I talked about earlier, they were moving up to the field a lot. They're up here now, so we'll see just how fast those trucks are. The Manny Ray's 48. Matthew Fritz, he has started to creep into the picture as well. And it looks like it is going to be an 8-lap shootout here to determine the Stage 2 winner. Sun continuing to set. If you're just tuning in, you are watching the Music City 200 here at Nashville Superspeedway. These guys would all like to, I guess I should say metaphorically, slam the guitar after the race. Of course, we don't have an actual guitar on the line, but here at Nashville, the Music City, famous celebration made by Kyle Busch. Certainly know whoever wins tonight would really be happy about it. And Kenneth Riedinger already with at least 1 win this season. We'll see if he can make it 2 tonight. Here we go. Pace truck pulls off. And remember, leader does have the option to go whenever he wants in this Geico restart zone, which they just rolled into. And Kenneth Riedinger is going to go about midway through it. Gets a good jump. We've seen this all night, but he did choose the bottom, unlike William McKellar, who did choose the top. And diving into turn 1, he's going to get that big arc to try to pull away from the field. Battling out back. Ooh, looks like the 9. TJ Allane did slide up. They're going to go 3 wide around him. Chris Akers. And they're still going to stay 3 wide with the 16 Justin Bentley. I think maybe didn't realize they were 3 wide for a second. But was able to dodge just in time. Justin Parham up to 4th. He is going to try to get by Paul Witt, as it looks like the 96 made a couple power moves. That's William George. He is now up to 2nd. And we'll see if he can maybe chase down Kenneth Riedinger, who has already put almost a half a second gap on 2nd place. And further back, these guys are still wadding it up. But I like what I'm seeing here. This second lane is starting to work for some of these guys. Chris Akers using it very nicely right now to try to complete the pass around the 16 of Justin Bentley. Further back, Jay Stinson. That's a Hickox Racing driver here. He is trying to fight inside the top 5. 64 of 150. Further back, man, these guys, these restarts continue to get more and more aggressive. 3 wide further back with Vicente Guerrero, Joey Hickox, and Xander Short both squeak by in the middle. And Rodney Roberts had damage, maybe hold them up here just a little bit. These guys still refusing to sort it out, as we are already 2 laps down from the restart. Joey Hickox is going to try to go by Joseph Fogg. Almost contact there, as it looks like Xander Short thinking about 3 wide in that top line. And if he can get there, he might have the momentum down the front stretch. Can he cross the 37 over out of 4? He can't. Joey Hickox, though, looks like he may have got the best of that affair, as he is going to move up the most spots from it. And now he can go set his sights on his teammate Randy Bonomi, who currently runs in 11th, just outside the top 10. Kenneth Riedinger is still leading, but the 96, William George, refuses to go anywhere, has the gap down to 0.3 seconds. But I don't know if he's got enough for this 24 truck before the end of the stage, as we will be coming to 4 to go this time. Further back there, still 2 by 2. Justin Parham falling back a little bit. Oh, they're going to go 3 wide here. Looks like, sure enough, Jay Stinson. They got to be really careful here getting down into the turn. There could be some contact if they're not careful. But actually, the 2 outside lines can prevail here. Jay Stinson knew he had to keep it down on the yellow. And that truck just not enough grip to roll the speed to keep it 3 wide, at least with those guys. Matthew Fritz, his teammate, just behind him there in 8th, up 13 spots from where he started. Kenneth Riedinger, though, still leading. Now he's starting to stretch it out just a little bit, but each lap that he can stretch it out, the better. These guys still continue to battling. Chris Akers, man, up 23 positions from where he qualified. Currently sitting in 3rd, and he is going to guarantee himself some stage points here for the 2nd stage. The 16 of Justin Bentley. Been out a pretty good night overall. We've seen him inside the top 5 for just about all of the night. And what I'm going to be interested to see is Chris Akers on that next restart here that we're going to have coming up soon. Can he somehow find a way? The 96, he is trying to find a way as he now has the gap under a 1/4 of a second between him and Kenneth Riedinger. And he is going to have 2 more laps next time to do it. And I tell you what, I thought Kenneth would just walk away with it here for the rest of the stage, but certainly not the case. But if he gets to him, what does he do? Does he try the outside? Does he try the inside? Wouldn't be surprised, depending on how close these guys are at the end of the race, if maybe we saw a bump and run. Nashville kind of has that, I guess you would say, vibe maybe to it, where guys could definitely do that depending on if they get close enough. Chris Akers, man, what a charge late. He might even have a shot at your leader if they had another lap or 2. I don't know. Maybe he does have a shot on the 96. Just about a truck length away. Chris Akers trying to work the outside. There's nothing there. He's going to have to tuck back in line. Kenneth Riedinger is trying to hold off the charge from these 2 guys behind him. William George, Chris Akers, they're going to try everything they can. It will be one more time around. Chris Akers now all over the back bumper. The 96, he's going to try to get low. He's got the lane. And I don't know, the 4 truck, he might have a chance on the last lap. Actually, no. Looks like the momentum stuck with William George, but this is what Kenneth Riedinger wants to see here on this last lap for stage 2. The harder those guys battle, the more it allows him to pull away, and I think he has got it wrapped up now. Down the backstretch for the final time, and you see we are just about fully dark. The lights are on and bright here at Nashville. Into turn 3, no pressure, out back. The 4, Chris Akers, he is not going to be able to make a move either. Here comes Justin Bentley. None of them have enough, and it is going to be Kenneth Riedinger winning stage 2 at Nashville. And there you go. Caution is out. And same thing as last time. We are going to go take a quick break so I can get a drink of water. We'll be right back as we go Ghost Racing Network side by side. Stick with us.
Yes, sir, I do.
And give me just 1 second. I just realized I had my mic muted, so I don't think anyone actually heard what I said, so we're going to run that back real quick. I do apologize. That thing that I had up there during the break, that's where we head over next for Ghost Racing Network. It is going to be the Spring 200 at Atlanta for the Fast Track Sim Racing Cup Series. Make sure you check it out. And you probably just heard them there, but we were dialing up your not stage 2 winner, but the biggest mover through both stages so far, and that was Chris Akers. Chris, you got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, man, you made up a ton of position from the start of this thing, and it looked like maybe if we had another 5 laps, you might have had something for the 24 there. How's the truck handling for you tonight?
It's handling pretty great. I decided not to qualify tonight. I thought I was going to be a lot slower than what I was, and then I decided to play a little Kevin Harvick move there and just save my tires and work my way up to the field, and luckily enough, I'm starting to find a little speed, and hopefully I can get up there and battle these guys.
Well, I was going to say, we know track position gets more and more important as the night goes on, and we're not scheduled for any more cautions. So is the game plan here to go, or are you going to try to do that same strategy of saving some tires and have it for the end?
Oh, I'm definitely going to save tires from here on out, and then see what happens. Hopefully we don't do a late race caution, and hopefully we'll be able to do a tire run right here and pass some of these guys at near the end.
Well, bringing up that late race caution, because we know you guys are going to have to pit here during this stage. And after you pit, are you still going to have a tire set left in case we get one of those late race cautions?
Oh, yeah, I'll have one set left, but that'll be it.
Well, that's all you need, and I'm sure you would use them up if needed. But, all right, thanks for talking to us. We'll put you back, and hopefully we see you at the end of this thing.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, and that is Chris Akers, the biggest mover of the field so far tonight. We'll put him back to his team, Hickox Racing, which has a pretty big field tonight. Looks like Ken Akers is spotting for Chris tonight. Matthew Fritz, and it looks like the Manny Ray's Mafia might be in there as well. Just chilling out with the guys, but we are getting ready to go back green for the final stage. We'll get the tire back up for you. And I'll tell you what, you would think as far into this I still wouldn't be making silly mistakes, such as forgetting to unmute my mic, but thankfully we didn't do it when these guys got back to racing tonight. If you're just tuning in, get comfortable and get seated, because we are getting ready for the third and final stage of the Music City 200 here in the NOMA Truck Series presented by Manny Ray's. Been a good series overall through the year. We've seen our races that maybe haven't been the cleanest, but tonight has certainly been a good one. We should be getting the one-to-go signal this time. And we are just now officially halfway through this race. And with knowing that pit stop's going to happen, Chris Akers, you heard him, he will have a set of tires left. And that tells me that I think all these guys should very well have a set of tires left at the end if we so need it. But it's been a green, clean, and really good race so far. I keep noting it, but it's just really impressed me how that outside lane has all of a sudden started to come in. Guys have really figured it out, and it's making the racing a lot more exciting, a lot better. We'll see if Justin Bentley has anything for Kenneth Riedinger here, who has continued to just smoke the guys into the Geico restart zone. Nobody's been able to really read his restarts. Let's go over your top 5 real quick. Here it is. Kenneth Riedinger leading the way with Justin Bentley second. Row 2 is going to be William George and Justin Parham. Chris Akers, the man that we just talked to, up 21 spots after not qualifying. Currently that last guy inside the top 5. William McKellar, pretty good recovery so far for the 75 truck. He is just outside the top 10 in 11th, and he has a chance. Just going to have to make up a couple more spots, as it looks like Cody Nagels is in the chat bullying me about the fact that I forgot to unmute my mic. Well, either way, I'll take it. Thanks for the support being out here, Cody. We appreciate you. Nancy Hickox says, good luck, Chris Akers. And here we go. I'm going to take a quick drink before these guys get going. Pace truck, you just saw it pull off. Here we go. The final stage at Nashville is underway. Kenneth Riedinger with another good jump. The 16, Justin Bentley, he is going to be able to clear that low line, but the 19, Justin Parham, is going to be side by side with the 96. And into turn 1, commanding lead for the 24, Kenneth Riedinger already. And Chris Akers, I'm telling you what, we're going to watch him. Let's know where he is now, and we'll know how he falls and moves, because, oh, we got one. Oh, man, Joey Hickox, he holds on to it. Holy cow, are you kidding me, Joey? Ooh, boy, that got really close. Let's back this up for you. He had himself a handful off of turn 2 right here. Oh, my goodness. He maybe got a little help from behind here from the 12, Xander Short. Oh, he did. Oh, my goodness. Holy cow. You see the right front tire was off the crown for Joey Hickox. That's got to be the save of the night right there. My goodness. Let's go back live, though, now. Going to keep myself together after that. That was wild. Kenneth Riedinger still leads. Justin Bentley. Oh, actually, caution is out. Caution is out. Sorry. Didn't notice it at first. This is a different incident, though. This is going to be Sam Boutwell, who is pretty far back. Just coming off pit road. Ooh, he's got some damage. 5th caution of the night. And it is going to be the 3rd caution that was not scheduled. Let's see what happened here. I got so caught up there for a second in Joey's wicked save. And I'll tell you what, let's go back here. I want to see Joey save one more time from his view, and then we'll check out the caution. Didn't want to do it there because I was afraid we'd miss some action, and looks like it didn't matter because either way, I did not get to catch the caution flying, but let's stick around on board with Joey here and see what all happens here. You see he is right behind Paul Witt here into turn 1. And it looks like all good so far, but right here he does have someone, Xander Short, come with a head. Oh, he just gets a little bit loose. That's where Xander Short gets into him right here. Wow, man, I thought he was going to overcorrect, shoot up into that outside wall. Oh my goodness. He holds on, and then let's go now to Sam Boutwell. And DJ Matters may have had an issue as well, but we'll check that out in just a second. First, let's see what brought out the caution here involving Sam Boutwell in the 47. Ooh, he's already in the grass, so this must have happened off of turn 4, I got to believe. Wow, long slide here on the grass. Ooh, TJ Allane looks like he might have been involved in this as well. Here we go. Ooh, there's going to be some contact already, so let's back this up just a little bit. These guys are running pretty far back in the pack. 3 wide, and oh man, just slight contact, it looks like, from the 9. And TJ Allane is going to slide to miss him, and the 47 goes for a pretty long slide here through the grass. Is going to be able to get it on pit road, but it does bring out the caution. Looked like TJ Allane was able to avoid any contact with anything, so that was a good save on the 9's part. In fact, let's see right here. You saw him lock it up and slide. That's a pretty hard thing to do here. And he's able to miss Sam Boutwell as well, so that's a double win for the 9. Great piece of driving there from TJ. And we'll give you one more view of it here. Just looked like 2 guys going kind of for the same piece of real estate. They got 3 wide, and couldn't tell who they were 3 wide with actually initially. It's going to be the 33, and I'll tell you what, we have not said anything about the 33 tonight, and that's Scott Collins. Let's give Scott a shout out real quick. Here he is making a pass on these guys, 3rd lane, trying to make up some positions. He is currently up 2 spots from where he started. You see, but watch the inside here. And actually, let's take a look at the chopper view. That's what I want to do here. So we can actually see if there was, I believe there was contact, but it was a little bit borderline, and I wasn't 100% sure on it. Watch Sam Boutwell on the 47. He is going to be the middle bottom of your screen here. You see him in the 9. You see Sam's got to run. He's going to try to come down the track. Oh, man, I don't even know if there was contact. I don't think there was any contact. I think, oh, man, if there was, it had to be ever so slight. I think this might have been a slight bit of net code. Oh, yeah, never really contact. Or maybe the 47 just got on the throttle a little too early, because it did come around pretty slow. But then at a certain point, it does finally just snap around on him. Goes for a slide in the grass. No harm, no foul, no damage really on either of those trucks. Now let's see if anything happened to DJ Madish here, or if he just pulled over to a stop. But this is after the caution's out. He may have just came to a stop here, but we got to check just to make sure we didn't. Oh no, he sure enough did spin. And that is not one he's going to want to see on his highlight reel. I think this is just grabbing the wrong gear on accident. I have done one of these before. It's a doozy, but let's ride on board with him to see if that's the case. Again, no harm, no foul, thankfully. So he'll be able to laugh at it after the race. Oh yeah, sure enough. I think what he did here is he probably grabbed first gear when he meant to get into second, and way too many RPM, starts wheel hopping, and that thing comes right around on him. Let's go back up front. This might change some things up. I don't think we'll see anybody necessarily pit here for tires. Wouldn't make too much sense. And it doesn't look like we really did see, at least not anybody that was running near the front. So your top 5 is going to be just about the same, but we'll read it out. Kenneth Riedinger first, Justin Bentley second. Row 2 is going to be William George and Justin Parham. And keep that name in mind, Justin Parham. It took him a little bit longer to get up here after he started hot early, but now he's up here. We'll see if he's got anything for Kenneth Riedinger. William George fourth, and Paul Witt rounding out the top 5. And this kind of worked out not so good for Chris Akers, because I think he was really hoping to start that tire strategy, whereas these guys that were kind of going from the get-go there, it helped them out a little bit. And Justin Bentley had been consistent tonight so far, and I think he's got a top 5 truck, but I think right now the fastest, I don't think there's necessarily one truck that has stood out the most tonight. There's been a couple guys, Kenneth Riedinger, William McKellar, Paul Witt at times, Justin Parham potentially, and Chris Akers. All those guys I think have a chance of potentially getting this thing done, but 82 of the 150 so far completed tonight. But here we go, pace truck is going to pull off. Kenneth Riedinger has the field in line, ready to lead him back to green. Justin Bentley, I mean, I got to think at this point, you try something different, but I don't know if there's any way to beat these guys on their restarts. And let's see. Looks like the 24 gets another great restart on the field. Justin Bentley this time Gonna have to work a little harder, but he is gonna be able to clear the 96 of William George. And looks like he doesn't take it though while he's got it. That opens it up to the 96 back down low. We're back there already getting right down to business in the sense of battling a couple guys, really fighting hard. And if you've noticed, as the nights went on, these restarts continue to get more and more aggressive. Guys are doing a little bit less give and take, and here's a good view. You can see all the way up to the field, Justin Bentley trying to go by William George. A little bit of a checkup back here. That looks like Vicente Guerrero, I believe, trying to get by the 5 of John Bell, who had a little bit of a moment there midway through 3 and 4. Further back, Randy Bonomi is trying to hold off Chris Akers, who is going to dive to his inside here. The 25, DJ Madish. And there's Joey Hickox. Looks like he is going to get around the 33 of Scott Collins. And we are going to see 3 wide right here. Albert Hewins, John Bell. And I believe that's Edward Smith. Looks like John Bell wants no part of it. He is going to back out of it. Oh, we got one in the wall up there. That was Scott Collins. Looks like he was able to hold on to it. That is going to cost him a couple positions. The Russ Kilgore still sits in pit road. James Scamordello did retire, and Robert Jordan is multiple laps down. Let's get the gap back up for you here. Go back up front where Kenneth Riedinger is still holding a lead, and this time he stretched it out pretty quick over William George, and then it's going to be Justin Parham up to that 3rd spot. Justin Bentley fell back to 4th, and now is under attack from Paul Witt, who is trying to take that 4th spot away. Rodney Roberts, he's up here. And last time I saw Rodney out during one of the broadcasts I was doing for the NOMA Truck Series, he made an extremely late charge. It was actually at Kentucky. And we'll see if he's got something late in the race here tonight. Xander Short's got some damage on that 12 truck, but he continues to stay out. Not exactly sure where that damage came from. But Kenneth Riedinger now has the gap over half a second. And we will keep it back here as he continues to stretch that gap. Keep an eye on some of these battles because we really get to see the best battles during the restart. And we don't want to miss them. Jay Stinson currently in 11th. Vicente Guerrero, we saw him with struggles early, but he has turned it around. He is up 15 spots from where he started. Still a pretty long ways to go, though, here at Nashville. So we are still going to see a lot of things change, but once the more these guys get spread out, the less chance we're going to have to see a caution. So I think it's now really the time more than ever. If you're going to try to get out and get in front, or not get out in front necessarily, but if you're wanting to go to the front, you got to save your tires now and just slowly, methodically work your way through the field, which is what I think we'll probably see Chris Akers do. Currently in 15th, not in any rush, just slowly picking them off one by one here as Albert Hewins goes by him on the inside. And Chris might be saying right now, you know what, bud, you can have it. I will keep my tires for when I need them later. You see the 89. Edward Smith had some troubles earlier. Saw him back that thing to the wall after contact with Sam Boutwell. Actually, was it Sam Boutwell? I don't remember who it was that he actually had the contact with, but it did send him backwards into the turn 3 wall. To give him damage. It looked like he did use a fast repair since then, and he's back out now. Before these guys get too spread out, how about a little Nashville Superspeedway? Crank it up here in Music City. And that is going to do it for tonight's segment of Crank It Up. I hope everybody did enjoy that. Kenneth Riedinger still continues to lead the way. William George is still just over half a second back. We'll see if that deficit starts to close, continues to remain the same, or starts to extend. Kenneth Riedinger is the only driver that has made up more positions so far tonight than Chris Akers, as he's up 23 spots and currently the leader. So the best position to be in. And when will we see that pit stop? You saw on your track map. I'll pull it up again one more time for you real quick. The field's slowly starting to get more and more spread out. The more spread out they get, like I said, the less chance for caution. What do you think here? Do you early pit? Do you late pit? Do you split it in half? How do you approach it? You know, I feel like if you split it in half, you can, I guess it depends on the strategy. If you're like Chris Akers and you're trying to save your tires, maybe you try to run this thing out a little longer. But if you're one of these guys that's running it really hard, maybe you split it in half. And we'll probably see a lot of guys actually try the strategy of just following whatever the leader does, because you figure if you can't beat him, you might as well join him, right? And here's a battle between Paul Witt and Justin Bentley. Or sorry, not between Paul, sorry, between Justin Bentley and Matthew Dyer. And Dyer is there, but not going to be able to take advantage just yet. I noted that these guys can go below that yellow, but we have just not seen it tonight. It does wear the tires a little more, and it is a little abrasive. Can get the truck out of shape just a little bit. Joey does have a little bit of damage there on the right side, making that nice looking paint scheme, flatwood paint scheme, not so nice anymore. But the truck seems to still be running fine. Vicente Guerrero, he is still hanging around the 14th position. In front of him, Jeff Carl, having a pretty good night. I know he's down 10 spots from where he qualified, but here you go. Chris Akers up to 12th. This is where he slowly starts his creep up towards the front. And we will keep an eye on it. Remember that number 12th. We'll see if he continues to fall or gain over the next couple laps. Let's take a look further back in the field here. Ooh, I saw a pretty good battle going on between the 55, Albert Hewins, Joey Hickox, and Vicente Guerrero. These three still going at it. And these two look like they're hanging pretty even with each other, but eventually that outside has got to give way to the inside. You usually wear more tires on that outside because there's just not as much grip. And in order to make that grip, you're going to have to use those Goodyear rubbers a lot harder than you would rolling around that yellow line on the inside, which is also the shortest distance. And you see he's finally going to have to give to Albert Hewins. Joey Hickox is going to try to take advantage of it now, but the 9, TJ Allane, is going to take it 3 wide into turn 3. They got to be a little careful here. Anytime you get 3 wide, it gets a little sketchy. Ooh, Joey washes up the track just a little bit, but they still hang on and keep from getting into each other. Finally, the 14, Vicente Guerrero, is going to have to fall out of that. Boy, he did not get the good end of the stick in that battle. Looking further back here, looks like it is going to single file out for the most part. We do have this little 3-truck pack back here, which is going to contain Robert E. Morrison, Scott Collins, and Robert Jordan. These are all trucks hanging out towards the back of the field. A couple of them actually laps down. You see right there, we do have 25 trucks on the lead lap. Scott Collins is the last one of them. And then we have Robert Morrison, or sorry, I believe it's actually, is it Robert Morrison? One of these guys is 2 laps down. I believe it is going to be Robert Jordan. Wow, Robert Jordan, man, we saw him 7 laps down at one point earlier. So that's pretty impressive in itself. He might somehow be able to get back on the lead lap if this thing were to go, or if we were to have a couple more cautions, rather, excuse me. Russ Kilgore is still in the pits, and James Scamordello, they both have basically retired from the race. As it looks like Raymond Daniels Sr. says, Austin, fix the picture. It is blurry. Oh, I do apologize for that. I'm not sure why. I'll tell you what. Let me pull it up real quick so I can take a look and try to fix it. Thank you for letting me know. Unfortunately, I cannot actually see what the picture looks like here unless I bring it up myself. Kenneth Riedinger still leading the way, and the gap is now over a second, so he continues to stretch it. And Raymond, I'm looking here at the picture I have. Do make sure this could be a chance because I'm looking at it here and it doesn't look blurry from the view I'm looking at. I'm like checking on my phone, so just maybe make sure in your settings that you do have it as 1080p, where you can change, you go into your settings. You might have it that way, but just check and go to quality and make sure you have it at that 1000p at 60 a second. But I am checking here on my phone, and this is showing pretty smooth. I can't really change anything else with it right now. So I do apologize for that. I'm sorry about that, Raymond. I'll try to fix it after the race, but there's not really anything else I can do about it right now unless it's something I can see on my end. Nancy says my picture is fine. It may be something with your internet right now, Raymond. Not sure, but getting back to the action on track, Matthew Dyer currently in 6th, down 2 spots from where he started. Rodney Roberts trying to get inside the top 5. And let's see how Chris Akers is doing. Made up another spot. Like I said, slow and methodical, but it's a pretty big group that he's about to work his way around. Oh, and Raymond Daniels says, I got an 86-inch TV. Oh my goodness. Well, that could be part of it. Part of the, sometimes, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not really sure, to be honest, but the gap here between 1st and 2nd continues to slowly extend, and as it runs right now, I just don't know if anybody really has anything for that 24 truck. But Justin Parham, a couple laps from now, he might be able to take over 2nd from William George. He continues to move up. Paul Witt in 4th, been having a solid top 5 day overall so far. And William McKellar won stage 1, led quite a bit of this race, but after contact with Kenneth Riedinger, gave himself damage, had to use a fast repair. Did bring out a caution though, and here he is back up inside the top 10 in 8th. And Jeff Carl in the 98, currently running 12th. TJ Allane behind him, Xander Short in 14th. And I think at this 12, didn't have some damage that he's got on the front. You'll see it, there you go. I think he'd be running a couple spots better, but Albert Hewen's having a phenomenal run tonight. He has been struggling the last couple weeks a little bit, but he has flipped that around so far tonight. Running out here, Joey Hickox for Hickox Racing in 16th, 17th, Joseph Fogg. 20th is going to be John Bell. And I'll tell you what, actually, let's go to the front of the field here, and let's give you a rundown on Hickox Racing and their running order. Let's go and find them here. Let's start with the first Hickox Racing drivers. Excuse me if I missed one. I would apologize now for it. Looks like it is going to be Jay Stinson, who is currently running 9th, just inside the top 10. Going back, you'll find your second Hickox Racing drivers. That is going to be Chris Akers in 11th. Moving back a little bit farther, we find Joey Hickox in 18th. Matthew Fritz just a couple spots behind him in 21st, rocking the Manny Ray's Mafia paint scheme. And then we'll find Randy Bonomi, the last running Hickox Racing driver, currently in 23rd, down 9 spots from where he started. And you see he also has some damage on the side of that 66. Battles continue to dwindle down as we are 106 of the 150 laps through so far. And I think before we get to the end of this, especially after pit stops, we are certainly going to see lap traffic start to play into it. We question the main thing here, though, is with this final pit stop, that's going to be the money stop, right? If you make any mistakes, I'm talking speeding on pit road. Well, that's the first, I guess I should say, let's split this up into 3 parts, right? The first thing is you got to get into pit road, and if you can get into pit road clean, you got to make sure you don't overshoot your box. You get all that right, you get out of pit road, then you got to deal with the hardest part, and that is going to be getting off that access road rather, and back onto the track. Remember, if you just get even a tire into the grass, it'll spin that truck right around, and that could do your race. Good thing here for Kenneth Riedinger is he continues to build up a lead, so he can be a lot more conservative during the pit stops than the rest of these guys. And if you're William George, you might have to come in a little bit harder to try to make up some time. Justin Parham, he was closing the gap, starting to extend a little bit between him and 2nd place. Justin Bentley, currently the last guy inside the top 5. And we do have a little bit of a battle back here, it looks like, between Vicente Guerrero, Joseph Fogg, Xander Short is currently leading this group of 4 here in what is the battle for 15th. Joey Hickox, he is trying to creep up on these guys, but they are too wide. Looks like the 14 Vicente Guerrero is going to be able to get to the inside of the 37. But now the momentum is back with the 37 as they go down the front stretch. It's like Nancy says it's a big TV. And looks like Raymond says, overall, you're doing an awesome job broadcasting. Well, thank you, Raymond. I certainly appreciate that. Glad these guys asked me to come on board. The gap still extending now, almost up to 2 seconds. This is starting to remind me of Kentucky. Kenneth Riedinger, once he took the lead, has not looked back. That thing has been on rails. And William McKellar got to be wondering, what if he was still up there? What if he didn't get spun? And what if he can somehow get a late caution and maybe get himself a chance to get back up there? A little bit harder to make up positions here versus some of the other tracks because it's really 2 lanes. We have started to see that 3rd lane come in here late in the going, but as the tires start to wear out, that outside line doesn't really work anymore. Joey Hickox looked like maybe he was going to be able to get around the 14 Vicente Guerrero, but he's going to fall back now. Joey does have some damage on, oh, he's going to get spun around. Joey out of turn 4. No caution yet. Now caution flies as Joey gets it turned back around. And hold on just a second. This is going to change some things up. throw the green flag stop out the window. This is going to be a race to the finish. But we are going to see pit stops. Let's take a look at it. I don't know if he got some help or if the truck just came around on him. Here we go. Out of 4. Oh, I think Joey may have been trying to make a pit stop. And got absolutely clobbered from behind by the 5. That's John Bell. John maybe wasn't sure, didn't know he was pitting. Ooh, yikes. Thankfully, everybody else was able to save it, and there was no contact. DJ Madish, nice job getting around it here. And let's see if this was indeed the case here with Joey. This is going to be my guess here, that he was trying to pit, got tagged in the back. Sometimes not everybody gets the memo that they are pitting. Let's see here. Yep, and you saw someone actually pitting in front of him there. So to indicate more, oh, that's Chris. It looks like Chris Akers. Yep, so Chris Akers did do his pit stop. That is a Hickox Racing driver, so it might have been part of a strategy. And that's probably pretty big damage to the back end of Joey. I'm sure he is not a very happy camper right now. Ooh, yikes. We'll see if he chooses to use a fast spray on that Chevy Silverado or not. Let's take one more view of this, but this time let's look from John Bell's view. And like I said, sometimes you maybe just focused on line. Maybe Joey said it over radio or typed it, and John maybe just wasn't really looking at it. Looks like John May got tagged in the back as well, but let's back this up. Take a look at it here from the cockpit view. This is a pretty hard hit. Boom. Saw he tried to get up the track, and if it was just a little farther, I think he could have avoided the 31. Just couldn't quite, though, unfortunately. Joey goes for a pretty wild slide. Give you one more look at it right here. Yeah, boy, TJ Madish, man, squeaked around there. Looks like I'm showing that Joey may have had another incident here. This could just be him stopping, of course, but we always take a look at these just in case. And Joey is... Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. What in the world just happened to Joey here? I'm not really even sure what to say about that. Nancy says don't interview him. He's going to need a minute, and I can believe it. So I want to back this up again. Check this out. So what, I'm not sure here. Oh, that's, no. That's another one of those mistakes. That's the second time we've seen this tonight from a guy. Joey accidentally shifted down. It sounded like it was either second or first here. Let's see if we can see the speed, and I could probably take a guess. He did downshift, though, to the wrong gear. Sorry, this is the wrong part. We'll go to the second one here. That's what started it, but this is what finished it for Joey, and you can't... Yeah, just downshifted either to first or second, and the first thing that does is make him start wheel hopping, and it's going to spin him out, but also that's going to blow the engine on that thing. No way it can handle the amount of RPMs he was trying to run there when he shifted down the first, and bad just went to worse for Joey Hickox. And Nancy, you're right. I don't think I'd want to interview Joey right now. He is probably not a very happy fella right now, as he did have to tow, and that's going to cost him more time, and he is going to fall some laps down. I'm not sure if Joey still has a fast pair yet or left or not. Hopefully he does. If he does, he could get back out on track, but it looks like he is currently not sitting in the race, so that might end it for his night. Let's go back up front where Kenneth Riedinger still leads the way, but it looks like Chris Akers... I tell you what, that caution actually fell at the perfect time for Chris Akers, at least I think. Because he was in pit road, of course, when the caution fell. I guess it depends on if he went a lap down. He shouldn't have. And actually, let's see what happens here. Should get a wave. And sure enough, that is going to be the case. The 4 gets his lap back. And I'll tell you what I'm actually going to do here real quick, because I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything, that these guys happen to pit or something. I'll tell you, we're actually going to do this the manual way, because I don't want to actually go through this individually here. And it looks like they did pit, sure enough. And that's just what I want to make sure, because that's important. So that means all these guys did take tires. You'd kind of expect it. You didn't really think anybody would stay out here, but this is going to change it up just a little bit here. First place is still going to be Kenneth Riedinger. Second, though, now is going to be Justin Parham on that outside. We've seen these two have their fair share of dueling throughout the season. William George is going to be third. Justin Bentley fourth. Paul Witt fifth. Matthew Dyer sixth. Rodney Roberts seventh. William McKellar 8th, Jay Stinson 9th, and Edward Smith rounding out the top 10. And it's go time now. I mean, you see it here. We only are going to have 35 laps to go here once we take the green. That is not a long ways to go here around Nashville Superspeedway, which ironically is just over a mile. They call it a super speedway for some reason, but here we go. Pace truck is going to pull off. Kenneth Reading has been the dominant truck most of the night. He split it with William McKellar for a little bit, but now I think he has taken the total laps led away. And here we go into the Geico restart zone. Justin Parham, can he anticipate it? Let's try to ride on board with him here. And it looks like he was not able to. And sure enough, Kenneth Ringer with another big jump. The 96, William George got a better restart this time. We've seen where usually that first guy on the outside is able to clear low, get down into that second spot. But the 96 read the restart pretty well, and he is actually going to be able to get down to that second spot. But Kenneth Riedinger off that restart in just a lap has it almost up to half a second already. And into turn 3, William George trying to stretch the gap on Justin Parham. But back here, we got a little bit of a battle going on. Oh, the 2 gets in the wall. That's Matthew Dyer, the 75. William McKellar is going to drop low on him. He comes up on Jay Stinson. Rodney Roberts also trying to take advantage of Paul Witt. And into turn 1, William McKellar looking to pick up another spot. Jay Stinson tried the top lane. Looks like it washed up on him. And he's got to be careful here. Oh, almost went 3 wide with Matthew Dyer. And these guys going at it. You would think we are within the last 10 to go, but everybody knows these restarts here are really the only time to make up all that track position, so they are going for it now. And the 89, that's Edward Smith. Looks like he had a little bit of a run down the front. Not going to really amount to anything, though. And all the field diving into turn. Oh, we got a spin. We got a wreck. Oh, boy. This one's going to collect a bunch of guys. Chris Akers is going to check up. Oh, no, this is chaos in turn 1. The 37, Joseph Fogg, TJ Allane is just going to tow it. And this is going to be our first wreck that involved that many, like multiple cars, you know what I'm saying, of the night. Let's take a look at it. Not sure where exactly this... Oh, wow, this starts ahead. It's going to be somewhere with Jay Stinson. I mean, it's just a cluster right there. So let's see if we can find out. Oh, man. I mean, these guys look like they were... Oh, Jay is going to get sideways here as soon as they get into the corner. And he might have picked the worst spot to do it because he had a load of trucks behind him. And is there going to be contact here? Yes, sure enough, there is. That's William McKellar. He gets into the left rear of Jay Stinson. That sends Jay around, and now everybody's going to try to scramble to miss him, but they just can't do it. And they just start piling up. William McKellar gets into it. Oh, man, there were some hard hits in that one. In fact, there were some more hits in front of this. Let's back this up. And let's go to TJ Allane because he is going to get... They almost had a secondary wreck. So here's the first one. William McKellar, Matthew Dyer, they're going to get into the 9. Initially gets around. But then the 47, Sam Boutwell and Joseph Fogg, they get together. Sam gets in the wall, and it's just a mess from there. Take a couple more views of this. Let's ride on board here with Jay. See what he saw from his roll bar here. And there's the spin. Man, I'll tell you what, I think if Jay didn't have anyone with him, I think he would have been able to hold on to that, but those were some big hits, and I think that probably totaled most of the trucks that were involved in that. So we saw just about everybody actually get into the wall during it. And going up to Joseph Fogg here for one last shot of this wreck. Here you go. There's the initial contact. And, oh man, TJ Allane, big hit into that outside safer barrier. And he had to tow it. You see the smoke coming out of the hood. This continues to start to change some things up. I'll tell you what, I didn't think tires were going to be an issue earlier. Now they might be, because think about it this way. Everybody should currently have one set of tires in the pits, but it depends on, do they take them now? I don't think you do. I think it's too risky, because if we see a late caution, boy, you are not going to be the only, you are not going to want to be the only one that doesn't have tires. And it looks like everybody is going to go ahead and stay out this time. At least everybody up front. If you're further back, though, you might give it a shot. Maybe it works out. Not much has changed with your top 5. I'm a little surprised that William George, what happened to William here? He is back to 16th. Maybe we did have a couple takers here on pits. I'll tell you what, I think that sure enough might be the case. See if we can see some of it here. Give me just 1 sec. And it looks like, yeah, I think William George did indeed pit ride here. So we did have a couple of takers, and I like this because this is going to change up the strategy a little bit. We'll see if these guys on new tires, how much it benefits them. Those are guys thinking that we are going to go these final, what is going to be 28-ish laps, maybe 27 to go green. And if we do, those tires might pay dividends for these guys. And I actually just got a message from Joey that says, I never shifted, the wheel quit, which is interesting. Okay, so Joey never shifted. Whatever happened with the wheel, it did downshift the truck, though. And we saw that there on his onboard, but so nothing Joey could do. And, man, I don't blame him for being frustrated then. Taking a look, though, here at the NOMA schedule, which is what I wanted to pull up here. We are currently, of course, at Nashville Superspeedway. Next week, we are going to head to Kansas for 140 laps. That's going to be a fun track. And I'll tell you what, that will be a track where we will see multiple grooves. Then we're going to head to the Tricky Triangle Pocono Raceway before we have an off week. And then we head to Michigan. That's a giant D-shaped oval. And then it's going to be the Charlotte All-Star Race. Special formatting. Excited for that one. Auto Club kicks off the round of 16th. And then we go to Legacy. That is Old Atlanta for the second race of the round of 16. Off week. And then for the round of 8, it's going to be Texas, followed by Las Vegas. And the championship race going to be held at Chicagoland. And most of those tracks that I just named that we go to from here on out is going to be a lot of multi-groove racing. And we are excited for it. Not really any more tracks where we see a lot of, I don't want to say technical turns, but it's going to take a lot of how straight can you hold the wheel and a lot of, I don't even know what I want to call it, I guess. But very excited for some of those tracks coming up either way. And Kenneth Reedinger trying to set himself up good here with a good points night. If he can get another good restart. Matt Dyer says, I never have any luck in this league. Well, we hate to see it for you, Matthew, but we're glad you're still tuning in, and hopefully you can get him next week. Continuing on, though, here we go. Kenneth Reedinger gets a good restart. A little bit of a checkup out back. Go to the blimp cam so you can actually see it. And you see that's what Chris Akers, Scott Collins, Robert E. Morrison, they were all stacked up because of that. Tell you what, Robert Morrison has recovered nicely. Went a lap down earlier. Here he is back up just outside the top 10 and 11th. And that's why sometimes it's better to just make it to the end of these races than be the fastest at the start. As Nancy Hickok says, not a good night for Hickok's Racing. Kenneth Reedinger already pulling away. He sees battling in his mirror between Justin Parham and Paul Witt. And he hopes that they continue doing so because it will continue to allow him to put the gap on. Further back, we haven't really seen anybody making their way up here too quickly with the new tires just yet. We're watching for some of those guys such as William George, Chris Akers maybe to make some quick progress. William George gets on the back bumper of Robert E. Morrison, maybe going to get a little impatient here. He knows he needs to go now. And the 43 truck not making it easy. Chris Akers was able to get by. He is going to dive low. And the 96 maybe going to have to push the issue and go 3 wide. No, he's going to stick behind the 43. Each lap that they get held up on those newer tires hurts them more and more up front. We do see a battle here between the 55 of Albert Hewins. And, oh, man, that got a little close there for a second. Xander Short gets the best of it. He moves up to 7th, up 6 spots from where he started. Looks like he did choose to use that fast repair finally. That's why the front end is not dented. And I think this 12 truck does have plenty of speed, so I like that he chose to use that. And the 66 around into the grass. That's Randy Bonomi. Let's see if he can save it. He's got a lot of speed. Oh my good. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, huge hit. Oh, that's really, really unfortunate right there. I don't even know what to say on that one. Man, he came back up the track absolutely flying. The 96 William George, he's totaled. Joseph Fogg. Randy Bonomi parks it in the bad night for Hickok's Racing just gets worse. I thought maybe he would hold on to it when we saw it, but oh my goodness. That was a huge, huge hit when he came back up the track. Let's take a ride on board with Randy here. And the grass, man, it's a slippery, slippery slope. Oh, it just gets turned down on. And, man. Yeah, you heard Randy, he stayed in the throttle there. He was trying to get it back on track, saving it. And it initially was holding on to it, but then once it turned right, he realized, but it was just unfortunately too late. Got out of the throttle, got on the brakes, but You just can't really stop on the grass, especially with slicks. And, man, when he got back up on the track, I'm telling you, this was a hard hit for some of these guys. Watch this. Oh, my goodness. Joseph Fogg, William George, both of those trucks absolutely destroyed. In fact, William George actually got stuck in the outside wall. And when you talk about these guys just nowhere to go, watch the cockpit view here. They were not expecting this at all. Going back here to where this started here for Joseph. For some reason, it's not wanting to let me get to his cockpit view. Here we go. Watch this. Oh, man. Just nothing he could do. Not even a split second to react to it. And I'll give you one more view of this here. Going back to Randy Bonomi. And that's, yeah, that one's brutal. See, looks like that is the 89 of Edward Smith. That comes back down into him here off of turn 4. Oh, man. Yeah, contact sends Randy Bonomi through the grass, and here he comes. Big hit. Took out a couple of guys that were having a really good night. Hate to see that. Sometimes might do yourself a little better just locking it down through the grass, but Randy knows it's late in the race, was trying to do everything to get back on the track without losing too much track position. Unfortunately, this time it does come back to bite him. And I can tell you the 37, the 96, not going to be too happy about it. Let's go back live, though, up front. Looks like Bryce hopped in the chat, Ghost Racing Network owner, and said, what do you say here? It says, hey, y'all, remember, if you are subscribed, it's always free and can be taken back. We're currently sitting at 591, and I really think we can hit 600 by the end of the month. And sure enough, that would be really cool. Quicker we can do it, the better. And we appreciate all the support from all you guys. Nancy says, sorry, Matt, let's try again. Nancy agrees about the 600 subs. And then Esports Gaming Network says, deuces. NOMA, absolutely uncalled for. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I am the broadcaster, so I got to remain unbiased here about everything. And I don't know what was going through, the driver's head. We don't know. Like I said, my best thought about it, Randy, of course, wasn't his intention at what happened there. Got to think he was trying to get it back on track. But unfortunately, like I said, the grass, almost like ice when you get on it and just nowhere to go. This shakes some things up because guess who pitted for some tires? Kenneth Rittinger with 22 to go, so that hands over the lead to Justin Bentley second, Matthew Fritz third, Xander Short, Robert E. Morrison fourth, and Jay Stinson currently rounding out the top 5. And Kenneth Rittinger, boy, he is going to be on a mission here. Good to see Matthew Fritz. So Hickox Racing still has some hope, and they're putting it all in the hands of the 48 right now. But Jay Stinson, he's still up here too. So while it seems like maybe a bad night overall for Hickox Racing with 2 of their trucks potentially retired for the night, they do still have 2 of them up here running inside the top 5. Vicente Guerrero has recovered very nicely here. He is just outside the top 5 and 6. Robert Jordan, I mean, are you kidding me? This guy was 7 laps down early on in the race. 7 laps down. Think about that. Stayed out here, kept fighting, got all 7 back, and here he is running an 8th. And I mean, I don't know who, I don't think there's anyone that I would tip my cap more to tonight. Doesn't really matter who wins. Give some credit to this guy right here in the 74. Never stopped fighting, and that's why you don't stop fighting right there for reasons such as this. Paul Witt currently in 9th, and it's going to be Justin Parham rounding out the top 10. Chris Akers in 11th. We saw him making some headway, and unfortunately William George, one of the trucks that was totaled in that last incident. It is going to be a 20-lap shootout, so I would call it a pretty short run here, less than any of the stage runs that we've had so far. And Xander Short up in 3rd. We'll see what he can do. But watch that 24 truck, and you better believe we'll keep an eye on because he is going to be making his way through the field as quick as possible on those sticker Goodyears. But these guys by no means are going to hand it to him, and we will take this restart with our blimp cam. We did start the race in the day, and it is now turned to 9, and that's what we are going to finish it in. Pace truck pulls off. It might be the final restart. Here we go. Justin Bentley into the Geico restart zone. Matthew Fritz looked like he was laying back a little bit. Wow, the 16 got a huge jump. So does the 12, Xander Short. Matthew Fritz, not the best restart. And watch that 24 on the outside line. We'll see who he can go around here and just how quick he can. Actually has a little bit of damage on the back of that 24, but I don't think it's going to affect him. And, man, already making moves on these guys. He's going to go 3 wide in between Vicente Guerrero and on the outside of Justin Parham. Now he sets his sights on Robert Jordan. But up front, you see Justin Bentley is trying to extend the gap, and this is going to be interesting because each lap that 24 spends behind any other driver, the harder it's going to be for him to catch. Oh, looks like, man, Robert Jordan was trying to hold him off there for a second. He can't do it. And this is not what Kenneth Riedinger wants. He wants to get around these guys as quick as possible. Robert E. Morrison, another driver with a great comeback story for the night. But on the bumper, Xander Short, he is going to try to give a battle now to the 16 of Justin Bentley. Kenneth Riedinger has found his way around Justin Parham. Still not quite around Robert Jordan, but he's going to get it here into turn 3 now. He sets his sights on Robert E. Morrison. And these two could be your battle for the lead. Coming to the end of this thing, we'll have to see Matthew Fritz still in 3rd. And Jay Stinson, his teammate, running just behind him in 4th. 18 laps to go, though, here at Nashville. The paddle continues to heat up for the lead. And I don't know if the 12's got anything for them. They almost seem like their trucks are even. It looks like the 16 maybe slipped up a little bit there. And, you know, I don't know. 20 laps might be just enough time to see whoever saved a little bit more tire to get a little bit of an advantage at the end. But right now, the gap between the leader and Kenneth Riedinger is only a 1.5 seconds. That is not much to make up between now and the finish. And the 12 has a run. He does take it. That's one of the first times I've seen a guy go below the yellow here so far tonight. Not quite able to do. He's going to send it into turn 1. Oh, man, almost made a little bit of contact with the back of the 16 of Justin Bentley. Not quite able to get there, though, that time. And the harder these guys battle, the quicker they're going to catch. You see Kenneth Riedinger now in the same camera shot. But more importantly than them, more importantly than Kenneth Riedinger right now is Matthew Fritz and Jay Stinson, who are closing in on this battle for the lead. And we have a ton of battling going on out back. Xander Short, here you go. He's going to try to pass for the lead. The 16 couldn't hold it off that time out of 4. Xander Short is going to try to wash him up here in turn 1 and get clear as soon as he can. And sure enough, they go. The 12 sends the 16 up the track. Can the 16 get back in line before Matthew Fritz gets there? He can, and now he's in danger of losing another spot. And this is what Xander Short wants to see. The harder these guys battle, the farther he can pull away. Kenneth Riedinger has made it to the back bumper, though, of that 48 truck now. He's got a head of steam. I don't know if there's really going to be anything that these guys can do. Each lap, those tires start to equal out a little bit more, but I think the strategy call for the 24 might work out. Xander Short trying to put a gap on the field. 48, Matthew Fritz still holding tough on the bottom. The 13, Jay Stinson, still holding tough up high. And Kenneth Riedinger says, hey, guys, I got to go. And he is going to take it 3 wide here down the backstretch. And into turn 3, not quite going to get clear. Now he gets clear of the 48. Wow, man, this guy's bobbing and weaving right now. He is also going to get clear of the 13 just about. Looks like the momentum was going to stay with that top, but Kenneth Riedinger still making it work on the bottom. He's got one more truck to go before he sets his sights on the leader of Xander Short. How about it, Xander? Incident on the first lap, fell all the way to the back. Here he is leading the way. That 16 of Justin Bentley. How hard does he fight him here? Can he fight him? And it looks like Kenneth Riedinger, oh, saw some contact with the wall there. I'm not sure who exactly that was, or if that was just iRacing. 14 laps to go, though. Now it's going to be 13. Kenneth Riedinger's trying the outside now on Justin Bentley. He really needs to get clear as soon as he can. The gap still sits at about 0.5 seconds. And the new tire's going to help him here down the backstretch. He has the momentum. And sure enough, he gets clear. It is all going to now come down to what can Xander Short do. Can he somehow find a way to hold off a charging 24? And I'm going to say no, because just like that, Kenneth Riedinger already back up here. Or sorry, I meant to say already cut the gap down to under 1/4 second. But he did hit the apron there in turn 3. He's got to be careful here. He has the fastest truck and the newest tires. You just don't want to slip up here and potentially make a mistake. Take a look out back here just real quick before they get the battle for the lead underway. And everybody's pretty much separated. There's a couple battles going on throughout the field, but we're going to keep it up front. Xander Short trying to get that big arc into the corner, and that truck just does not look like it has enough grip to stick to the bottom anymore. And I promise you, Xander's not going to hand it over here easily, but I don't know if there's really much he can do. Take a look at the track map. Couple stragglers throughout the track, but general field all still relatively close together on the same straightaway at least. And next time around, it'll be 10 laps to go. Kenneth Riedinger showing a lot of patience right now. Here we go. He's got around the 12, trying to block low. Oh, he gets turned. The 12, Xander Short through the grass. No caution. Now the caution flies. The 12 comes to a sliding stop. No damage, but he tried. He couldn't quite do it. And Kenneth Riedinger said, hey, man, if you're going to block, I'm going to shove. And Kenneth takes the lead from it. And, I mean, if you're Xander Short, what can you do? He knew he had to try everything there. He knew he didn't have the tire to hold off Kenneth Riedinger, and he knew he had to try something, so he tried blocking, but unfortunately it doesn't work out for him. Let's take a look at it. We'll show you the chopper view first. No real harm, no foul here in my opinion. Just two guys going at it. I don't think Xander's really going to be too upset about it. He knew the risk when he threw the block, but he knew that that's what he had to do, right? I mean, you can't just hand it over to the guy and, you know, maybe somehow if he can hold him off a couple of times, the tire's even out. But right here, you're going to see the first block. Looks like it works out. Kenneth says, all right, I'll go lower. The 12 tries the second block, and you get one shot at it, but you don't get two. That's where the contact finally sends the 12 around. And that sends him for a pretty long, harmless slide here through the grass. Caution did fly. He's pretty lucky here. He doesn't hit the back wall, but good to see it work out for him. Taking one more look at it here real quick. TV2. Back it up just a little bit. Pretty cool shot of it there. You'll have Xander Short looking right at you here in just a second. And there you go. Waves to the camera before he finally comes to a stop. And this could change some things up for the lead. I don't know how many of these guys have tires, and I'm very curious about just who does. So let's get right back up front. And we may have missed, I'm not sure if we missed anything yet. Let's back it up here just a lot. I just want to make sure that I didn't miss these guys potentially pitting, and it doesn't look like we did. So if we go back live here, it looks like Kenneth Riedinger, Justin Bentley, they both stayed out. Jay Stinson, Justin Parham, Chris Akers. I don't think any of those guys had tires left, so we'll see who all had what left. And it's going to get interesting here. I really didn't think this race would come down to how close it is now, but sure enough it did, and here we are with what is probably going to be a 7 to go restart, assuming we do get that 1 to go this time. And it's going to get wild. It's going to get crazy. But I think Kenneth Riedinger might have the best stuff out of everyone here to hold them all off. He's got the fastest truck and the newest tires, at least out of those front 5 right now. Take a quick second here to remind everybody one more time where Ghost Racing Network heads next on Monday. We do go over. It's going to be the JBR Atlanta Spring 200 and the Fast Track Sim Racing Cup Series presented by the Alloy Wheel Repair Specialist. And those guys have been putting on a heck of a show all season so far. And we can't wait to see what they're going to do at the new Atlanta. Going to be a lot of bump drafting, probably a couple big wrecks, and there's going to be some money up on the line. You're excited for it. Don't miss out. Getting back live here at Nashville Superspeedway. It's been a pretty good race so far. We have seen probably a handful of cautions, but nothing really egregious, and that last caution was an innocent spin for Xander Short. Unfortunately, it is probably going to ruin his chances of having a good finish, as he is now back to 16th. But either way, he gave it his best shot, and that's what we like to see out here in the NOMA Truck Series presented by Manny Ray. And now is a good time to get your picks in. Who do you think is going to win? I think I got my money on Kenneth Riedinger, but we'll see. Of course, if you are just tuning in, we are at Nashville Superspeedway here in the Music City 200 for the NOMA Truck Series. Next week, we do head to Kansas. That's going to be a multi-groove track. We will probably see some guys ripping the wall there. And I'm excited to see that. I mean, I'm talking, mere inches from between them and the wall, which is going to be the complete opposite of what we've seen tonight, which has been that yellow line dominant. Bristol last week, we saw a couple different lines, but here at Nashville, we saw that middle and outside line start to come in, and it seems to work if you're on new tires. Kenneth Riedinger here with a little damage in the back. I don't think it's going to affect him at all. And if we see a couple more cautions, maybe we see some of these guys crawl from the back. If anybody has new tires, now would have been your chance to put them on. We'll see how it pans out. We did put a poll up there. We'll take it down just before we go green here. I want to get your votes in last second on whether or not you think Kenneth Riedinger will win this thing. Of course, we thank everybody that's coming out tonight, supporting the channel, supporting these drivers, more importantly. Hickox Racing had a half and half night, one of the main teams out here. So is Max Speed TV. But above all of them, Kenneth Riedinger has been smoking the field ever since stage 2, I would say, or halfway through stage one. Looks like one person voted and they said no to Kenneth Riedinger winning. We'll see if that's true. I think he's got the win, but we're going to find out. Here we go. It'll be a 6-lap shootout. Green flag is in the air. Kenneth Riedinger gets another big jump. And the 16 is going to drop down second in line. Kenneth Riedinger, though, on those new tires, going to have no issues pulling away. Looks like Jay Stinson slid up the track just a little bit. A lot of these guys are on pretty old tires now, and these trucks are really struggling. Rodney Roberts, he's looking to make up as many positions as he can in a hurry right here. And he's not going to be able to find his way around the 13 that time. Chris Akers, also another driver working that outside line. Getting a wider shot here. The 45, he looked like he thought about 3 wide a couple times, but he thinks better of it. Further back, we are going to see 3 wide. Robert E. Morrison, the 89, Edward Smith, and DJ Manish all going to have to slow down. There's a little bit of contact that sends Robert E. Morrison up the track. He hangs on, but he's going to lose a handful of spots because of it. And we are now down to 19 trucks on the lead lap. Remember, we started with 28. And up front, Kenneth Riedinger continues to pull away, but the battle is for second. Justin Parham trying to get around that 16. And down the front stretch, I don't know, is he going to be able to complete it? Now the momentum goes back to the 16, Jay Stinson. Who does he push if he can somehow get up there? One of the coolest things about Nashville is the difference in speed. These guys get up to what you could maybe call super speedway speeds on the back and front stretch. But then down in the turns, they get down to what we see at, Dover, maybe even some of the 1.5 miles. But definitely a lot of variation here in Nashville. And looks like Justin Parham finally got the best of Justin Bentley, the Justin and Justin show for second. And Chris Akers, the next guy that's going to try to get around Jay Stinson. But 3 laps to go. Kenneth Riedinger still out in front. The gap over half a second. And he is going to try to cruise his way to the finish. Doesn't have to really worry about any competition right now. He is just wanting to see the white flag so he can finish this thing off. Now we see Chris Akers trying to go around the outside of Rodney Roberts. Justin Parham had a great night overall, but Kenneth Riedinger had an even better one. He is up 23 spots from where he started. 2 laps to go, and all he needs to do now is pull that white flag, and even if there's a caution after that, it won't matter. He will get the win. Rodney Roberts now fighting back on the inside of Chris Akers. And if that was the battle for the lead, those two are going at it. Paul Witt's going to try to creep in, see if he can get in on some of the action. The 48, Matthew Fritz, he is battling Albert Hewins for the 9th spot. Vicente Guerrero is going to see if he can maybe close in on this final top 10 spot here before this thing's all said and done. But here we go. Off turn 4, white flag is in the air one more time around for Kenneth Riedinger. We saw him get in some contact in the back. He started in the back, actually, last week at Bristol. It was a really rough showing for the 24. He had a fast truck, got caught up in a wreck, used a fast spare just as he started getting back to the front. Got caught up in another wreck tonight. He started way back. In fact, 23 spots back. But slowly but surely worked his way up here. Had a couple run-ins with a couple drivers. But at the end of the day, he pulls away and out of turn 4 for the final time. Nashville Superspeedway winner in the Music City goes to Kenneth Riedinger. Heck of a drive for the 24 truck. And Rodney Roberts maybe have a spin here after the line. No, it looks like he's just going to pull it down. Justin Parham did come home second, with Justin Bentley finishing 3rd. And he is going to burn it down. Good race, though, overall by these guys. We really like to see that, especially after Bristol last week. These guys really came out and cleaned it up for the most part. Got a little messy at times, but overall, NOMA did not disappoint tonight. Kenneth Riedinger picks up his 2nd win of the season that I know of. He may have won some more before I, of course, took on. I just joined here, about middle of the season, but he is going to burn it down right in front of the fans here at the start-finish line. And while he does so, we're going to go see if we can get your top 3 in the booth. We'll be right back. Stay with us. And while we await your top three here in the booth, let's go over your finishing results for tonight. Bringing home the win, it's going to be Kenneth Riedinger in the 24 truck. Second, Justin Parham. Third, Justin Bentley. Fourth is going to be Jay Stinson. Fifth, Rodney Roberts. Sixth, Chris Akers. Seventh, Xander Short. Eighth, Paul Witt. Ninth is going to be Matthew Fritz. 10th, Albert Hewins. 11th, Vicente Guerrero. 12th, Edward Smith. 13th, Scott Collins. 14th, DJ Madish. 15th is going to be Robert Jordan. With 16th, Robert E. Morrison. Jeff Carl, 17th. John Bell, 18th. Moving back to 19th, it's going to be Sam Boutwell with William McKellar rounding out the top 20. 21st, Matthew Dyer. 22nd, Joseph Fogg. 23rd, Randy Bonomi. 24th, William George. 25th, TJ Allane. 26th, Joey Hickox. 27th, Russ Kilgore. And the last truck in the field tonight in 28th is going to be James Scamordella. And let's see if we have gotten your top three up here yet, or if they have hopped in at all. Some of these guys are not guys that actually sit in teams, so we don't always see them up here. But it looks like we got at least two of them right now. We are still looking for Justin Bentley. Don't see him right now. We'll see if he hops in here before we finish this thing off. But I guess as we stand right now with what we got, let's go straight to your top two. And that is going to be Justin Parham and Kenneth Riedinger. So let's start first with your second place finisher. And that is going to be Justin Parham. Justin, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, overall, got to be a good night, right? I mean, looked like you were struggling there. Not struggling, but I'd say not towards the front, towards the middle of the run. But later on in this race, you figured it out, got up to second. But what more did you need there to maybe have a shot at the win?
Better tires. He was just better at getting into the corners, and it just saved his tires a heck of a lot more than mine. So, as I said, he was able to manage the tires a lot better.
Well, it certainly should carry some momentum for the rest of the season. What are you looking for that you can bring from tonight into Kansas next week?
I just hopefully the same results of grandstand racing as 1 and 2 again.
All right, sounds good. Before we let you go, though, tonight, is there anyone you would like to thank or shout out?
Just the league for putting everything on.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That is your second place finisher, Justin Parham, in the 19 truck. And let's move on. Let's see, before we move on, if looks like it is still just going to be your winner in here. So let's get right to him. Kenneth Riedinger. Kenneth, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, you bring it home first. Sounds like your teammate did get second. How did you be so dominant there towards the end tonight?
I was just trying to take care of it, take care of the tires. Seems like everybody could run fast for like 10, 15 laps, and then after that, they didn't really know what to do with the tire fall off and how you had to back up the corner to get off fast. So just waiting for the tires to fall off before you could really start stretching it out.
Well, congrats on the win. And I got to ask you the same questions I asked your teammate. Going into Kansas next week, is there anything that you can bring here from Nashville over there?
Just same race, no mistakes. The last few weeks, I've had a lot of mistakes. Either running out of gas at Indy or getting in the back of some people. So I know I think there was two guys in this race that I got in the back of, but I think they chopped down on me trying to make the pass for the lead there. So I have to go back and review that. But from my vantage point, it looked like they came down on me. But other than that, just not have any more mistakes the rest of the races.
All right, sounds good. Well, congrats on the win this week, and good luck next week.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. And that was your winner tonight, Kenneth Riedinger. I'll tell you what, I did forget to ask him if he had anyone he wanted to thank or shout out. Man, 12:01 in the morning apparently has me a little bit more tired than I thought I was. Either way, though, these guys put on a great showing tonight, and we thank you all for coming out. Don't forget, Monday we do head over to the Fast Track Sim Racing Cup Series, and it will be at Atlanta, New Atlanta, of course, and we are excited for that one. Going to be some money on the line. We hope to see you all there. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope everyone did enjoy, and we'll see you next time.